Fahd, welcome to #Education Day.
Thank you, Jeremy. It's an honor to be here.
Fahd, the first question I want to ask you is, could you tell us about yourself and your journey?
Sure. So my name is Fahd. I come from Lebanon. My journey really started when I was back at the school, at my classroom. I had a really tough context. I was bullied. I had really challenging time when being at school. And as I was growing up, I really wanted to transform this reality for the kids that come from the same community that I come from, and also for not only my community, but the whole countrywide Lebanon. So I embarked on a journey when I was 19. I opened up a community space, a community center where I tried to bring teachers, students, and parents to work collectively together to try to enhance student outcomes holistically. And that really triggered my whole journey, I would say. I learned so much about student education. I learned how much it's an interconnected problem that we need to unpack and try to understand more thoroughly, and try to see how we can really leverage different stakeholders to come together and try to shape a better student learning experience. As my journey evolved, I kicked off a teachers community across the country. We worked with more than 6,000 educators during COVID-19. We really wanted to ensure that teachers are represented on policy discussions across the country. They are really shaping their own learning experiences and learning journeys. And as we were going through that experience, we learned that it's so important to work on a system level institutional change, and that institutional change for education really should start back at the school level. With a lot of amazing Lebanese citizens in the country and also in the diaspora, I worked on a third initiative that really worked on bringing school principals together to shape a common reform agenda for the country and for the schools. So we try to help these principals connect with one another and really try to scale and transform education for the kids across the country. So the last initiative that I'm talking about, it's called Nafda Lebanon, and it's been going for over 3 years now. It's moving across around 100 schools across the country, and it's really doing transformative change on a system level of these schools that are really transforming their school experiences, really anchoring in values such as citizenship, good governance, and social justice.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, it's amazing what you're doing and transforming the school system of a country. How amazing! Congratulations on doing that. It's wonderful. Fahd, we were introduced through the Kofi Annan Foundation. Could you tell us about your work with them?
So Kofi Annan Foundation really works on continuing the legacy of Kofi Annan through youth leadership, through democracy, and international cooperation. And one of their programs is the Changemakers Initiative. So they select around 12 youth changemakers globally and try to connect them with friends of Kofi Annan and with people who have been really embodying the Kofi Annan way on how he has been really trying to transform the world through his various positions, specifically in the UN. So I was part of that amazing group in 2022. And it has been really transformative because it's an opportunity to really learn about this amazing man and learn about his way, learn about his learnings as well. And for me, it was really at a time where I'm trying to have a bigger vision of what I was trying to do. So there was a lot of personal transformation happening, and it was just the right place with the right people. A lot of reflections on your limiting beliefs, on what you can do in the world, in your country, how can you transform education for me personally. And so it really helped me to have a bigger vision than what I had before.
Incredible that he made such a contribution when he was here, and that his legacy is inspiring people like you to do the work that you're doing. That's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
It really is.
It really
is. Yeah, it's actually one of the things that. So during that period, connecting it back to my story, I thought that I've been doing these great initiatives in the country, and last year I worked on a policy reform project between the ministry and UNICEF. And I really realized that maybe it's time to just pause and take a break, come to somewhere else and learn more about how can we transform education globally. And this is where I am today. So I'm part of the University of Oxford. I'm doing another master's degree, really to help me broaden that vision, anchor it more in what I really want, and see what could be the next steps.
I'd like to ask you, why is the International Day of Education so important to you?
I think it's really important, especially with the evolution of how we've been viewing education. There is transformative change globally on that landscape. So I think access to education has really changed in a very positive way. We've seen globally more than 90% of the kids that we always wanted to be part of the school, they are. But now we are more critical on how can we keep these kids learning and learning meaningfully, and what are the tools that we need to help students really transform. And for me, education is all about raising critical consciousness about the world, about the challenges that we are having today with all the issues across my country and back in Lebanon or around the world, wars and genocides and different things that are happening now, climate change. So we really need to be more critical on what type of education do we want to have back in the local context and also globally.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very interesting point. What's been happening in Lebanon, and as you say, around the world, and I'm obviously sorry that all of these things are going on as you are, right? It's, we want to see this change. What role do you think education can play in relation to giving young people the necessary tools to become the change makers that, Kofi Annan is training people to be? What fundamental changes do you think need to happen so that we don't continue this cycle of violence?
I really think it's about education is powerful because it's really about igniting the agency of people and how they can have a better sense of possibility of what could be. Maybe this is philosophical, but this is at the heart of education. How can we enhance the agency of the people to really take action, to really transform their realities and transform their lives to become really better and make this whole globe more livable. So I serve on one of global organizations called Junior Achievement Worldwide, and they work on entrepreneurship, career readiness. They work in 120 countries globally, reaching 70 million kids across the world. And they have been nominated for 3 times now for the Nobel Peace Prize. And I think this is a clear example how education is very much connected to peace. It's a clear example how people are seeing that how important by really supporting children and students and youth to be more economically empowered and to have more agency on what possibilities could be is really at the heart of peace. And this is one of the things that Kofi Annan mentions, that education, in other words, is called peace.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting. I mean, at Peace One Day, we've been putting out free education resources for, I suppose, 22 years in lots of different languages for lots of different ages. They're all at peaceoneday.org. They're free for parents and teachers. But yeah, I think I'm with you that, if we want to see the manifestation of a more peaceful and sustainable world, if there was one last thing that I could do whilst I was here, then I'd love to see a resource be in every single school of the world that was the same, that was all about equipping a young person with the necessary knowledge to save our world.
Yeah, very, very true. And I think we need to also look at education as also a political. The political aspect of education is so important because the global discourse of education has been always depoliticizing education, decontextualizing education, and for me, world leaders need to be educated in a certain way so that we are really helping the world transform, and this starts at the school level. So it's not about only the children. How can you educate them not to be part of armed conflicts, right? But also how can you prepare these young people to transform, and what is the political agenda that we all need to agree on to make a more peaceful world?
When you see everything that's going on and you see what's happening in Lebanon, here we are, January 2025, and it's been a very, very difficult period for your people and other countries around the world. Where do you get your hope from? I mean, what makes you want to continue and believe that a change is possible?
I really think education is really about generating this sense of hope. But for me, it's about how some examples that you see on ground that can help you be more hopeful. Because otherwise, you need to get inspired by the students, by the kids, by the classrooms, by the teachers, by the principals. So back again in Lebanon, NAFDA as an organization, NAFDA Lebanon, which is the last organization I supported and was part of its co-founding team, I think the most inspiring thing is how principals and teachers are doing an incredible job while there is barely resources, while there is, maybe there is no electricity or there is no water or there is no, but they really are leveraging their agency and knowing how important their role is to transform the country. And this starts by their role in their school, through their leadership, and affecting these kids that they work with.
It really is all about education, isn't it? It really is. I'm really pleased that you supported #Education Day. It's a real honour to meet you. And we really wish you the very best in your incredible work that you're going to do now, that you've already done, and that you're clearly going to be doing in the future. So we wish you well on that. Before you go, though, is there anywhere that you would like people to go? If you want them to find out more about you or some of the organisations that you're a part of, is there anywhere we could go to find out that information?
Of course, I'm all around LinkedIn, Fahd Jamaleddine, based on how my name is written. You can check the incredible work of Junior Achievement Worldwide, NAFDA Lebanon, Kofi Annan Foundation, and connect and see how we can support one another.
Good luck on your journey.
Awesome. Thank you so much.